So I chose to go into student affairs because I was an RA for about 3 years prior to being a professional staff member. And I just realized that you could do student affairs for life, and that could be your career. And so I really enjoyed the RA position, and I really wanted to kind of make that my career. And the residence director position actually opened up in my third year when I was an RA. And so I applied and I love it. I'm in my fourth year right now. And I think my favorite part probably is just really getting to help students develop and kind of overcome those college challenges. And then also just help develop my student staff into really awesome student leaders.
So I chose student affairs because during my undergrad I was really involved, and I really do enjoy event planning as well as working with other people in general and like helping them figure things out and understand like what to do next. And then I really do think that the best part of the job, or my favorite part of the job at least, is the like funny interactions that I have with students, and just like how different every person that you meet is, and just the amazing things that you learn about the world and like other people every day.
So college is definitely a changing experience, and I don't know of anybody who went to college that came out the same way they went in. And so being able to be a part of that change and helping direct students to their passions and what they love to do is probably one of the reasons why I went into the field, but also my favorite part. I started off in marine biology, and I realized that I liked working with people more than I liked working with fish. So I decided to change my career path and go into student affairs. And I just really enjoy working with students day to day and just seeing how like the generations change but also stay the same in different aspects.
So I chose to go into student affairs. I was really involved in my undergrad and didn't really have somebody saying, hey, there's a career here. But I kept going back to my experience that I had, all of the different people that I was able to work with through that process, and really wanting to give back to something. And I felt like what I was currently doing in sales didn't provide me that opportunity. And so I decided that I was going to take the plunge, go back and get my master's, and work in student affairs so I can try and give back to the students that are here and have them have as good of experience as I had.
So I got into student affairs. My first role was being an RA, and I had a mentor who told me I should go into the field. And so I was only an RA for a year, and I actually am a little bit non-traditional. I went into corporate America for about 5 years and then decided to go back into higher education to be able to make the change and affect lives like I do now. And my favorite part of working in higher education right now is being able to mentor people that are going through similar situations that I did when I was a student. I think that's huge. And the biggest thing my office focuses on is impact. And so working with leaders on campus to be able to increase our impact is really what inspires me.
When I was in college, I was very set on using my major and going into that field. And then my senior years applying to graduate programs, and it didn't feel right. I wasn't really struggling with that process. It was difficult, not the application, but explaining why I wanted to pursue those particular programs. And I had a quarter-life crisis and decided I wanted to work in student affairs. And so I kind of fell into it, which is a pretty common story. But I think it was part nostalgia and fear of leaving my university and the amazing experience I had when I was an undergrad, and part really understanding that I wanted to develop and work with people, and student affairs is all about that. And that's actually my favorite part of working in student affairs is I have an opportunity to get to know students and help them on their journey, help them find their community at KSU, find their people, get connected, get involved. But I also help them develop. I work with a lot of student leaders, which is such a joy and honor. And I'm able to see their progress. You know, there's students I've known for 3 years now as first years, and now they're juniors, and to see how far they've come it's amazing. And I love being part of that journey and helping them develop and grow.
So I think my one piece of advice would be to just say yes to any opportunity, even if it's a scary one. There is a quote that is something like, failing isn't actually about the falling, it's about getting up. And so I think, just keep encouraging yourself to try things that may be out of your comfort zone and may not be necessarily in your skill set, because that's how you grow and that's how you learn. So I would just encourage you to say yes to as many opportunities as you can and just continue to learn from them.
So if you're an undergraduate looking to get into student affairs, I would tell you that everyone you meet is super important. So the student affairs world is very tiny, and like everybody knows everybody. So like someone that you're working with today could end up supervising you or working on the same team as you down the road. So like an example of this is that I was a hall director with Zach Birch, who is now an area coordinator here. So he's like my supervisor. And like Zach and I are great friends. But I think it's important to know like the worlds are so like intermingled that just being really intentional with the relationships that you build, because there are so many like great things to learn from people, but also knowing that can kind of come back.
My advice for undergraduates going to this field would definitely be to find somebody that is already in the field and in the position that you're looking for, and definitely talk to them about the requirements of their job, especially talking to them about the requirements of their job past what it says in their job description, because I think there's a lot of things that you do in residence life that aren't explicitly stated in the job descriptions, and sometimes those are the things that can be really taxing, whether that is time and spending time after the typical 9 to 5 work week, or whether that is living on campus or whatever it might be that might be challenging to different individuals. So definitely find somebody that you have a connection with or you can build a connection with and ask them what it is that they do, why they love it, and what are some of the challenges of their position.
My piece of advice for anyone who's looking to be in student affairs is to be flexible. Be willing to go to other places that you may not have heard of. Be willing to apply to institutions that maybe you wouldn't necessarily think of to begin with. Those are where you'll get the unique experiences that you didn't know you needed.
I think definitely making connections with people who are already in the field. Student affairs professionals love to help, and so we would love to help you all in your journey in becoming into a professional in this field. So I think that if you were interested in the field, just kind of connecting with multiple professionals, because the field is fairly small, and so chances are we know a lot of people at different institutions to get you connected if you might not be growing up at the actual institution that you're at right now.
There's a lot of different advice I could give to undergraduate students looking to go into the field of student affairs. I think the one that I would point out more than anything is to just be very clear on why you want to enter the field and hold on to that. There's a lot of things that you're going to learn about as you enter your first full-time job, as you enter a graduate program. As you advance, there's going to be some things that you didn't know before that you learned and you may not be that thrilled about. And it's really important to remain grounded on why you got into the field in the first place. And just about all of us, if not all of us, got into this because we enjoy our work with students, and it's very easy in our work to sometimes forget that, especially as you become more and more disconnected from working with students on a day-to-day basis. But if you can remain true to that, if you can keep that at your core, you're going to be very successful and you're really going to enjoy what you do.
Like, we're changing so quickly, and so if you want to go into this field, it's a lot of like roll with the punches and like not get too set in your ways, because students are always changing. And so what like worked to get students to a program back in 2008 when I started is much different than what we do for students nowadays. And so I think it's just being really open-minded and being really, again, just kind of like rolling with the punches.
My advice to students who are thinking about going into this profession would be to go ahead and familiarize yourself with the stages of student development. You can even look at Chickering's 7 vectors and start to relate those to the experiences that you're having. So when you're working with students in the future, you can go back to your own experiences. Those are such great teaching tools and learning tools that can be shared with other people. So again, familiarize yourself with student development now, and then you'll be able to correlate it to the students you work with in the future even better.
First of all, take advantage of your undergraduate time. diversify your experiences, get to experience a lot of different things, and try to figure out as best as you can what some of your passions are. Student affairs is an incredibly diverse as well as incredibly opportunity-filled field. And a lot of people who learn about student affairs kind of from being an RA or from being in student government see one piece of the work, but they don't realize how incredibly expansive the work is and how many options exist for them. So I think it's great to diversify your opportunities while you're an undergraduate. And of course, I realize everyone's got time commitments, so don't overextend yourself either. But definitely, if there are opportunities, even if it's on a short-term basis, whether it's to work with someone in student affairs in a mentorship opportunity, to shadow somebody for a day, to do an internship, to work in an office in one of the various student affairs offices so that you make some money as a student assistant while also gaining some practical experience. Just whatever you can to learn as much as you can so you can figure out what is it that you're passionate about and what is the right connection and fit for you.
Think about the skills, your passions, and your values, and how those might line up with what a career could become. And talk to people, again, that you think are in positions of leadership that you would like to see yourself someday. So if there's a director of residence life out there that you think, wow, what's your day-to-day job like? Go talk to that individual. If there's an area coordinator, or if there's a dean of students or a vice president for student affairs, I think one of the highest compliments that someone can be paid is when somebody gets asked, so tell me a little bit about what you do and why you do it. Because the why, I think, is just as important as the what. So I think experience it to the best degree that you can, see what a good fit is, and just be open. And I think it's a great, great field. Oftentimes people see it as kind of a calling in some ways. It's not necessarily easy. As you guys know, there's nights, there's weekends, there's on-call responsibilities, there's crises. But the way that you can impact students' lives and people's lives is what keeps me going every single day. So explore, be open, and ask as many questions as you want. And check out other universities too. You likely love the institution that you're a part of, and that's great. But it can be really, really a way to enhance your experience by checking out other schools and other universities. And you may wind up at the same place where you are right now, or you may go someplace else and find it just as rewarding.